watch even on this, as I watch sometimes on this Zoom connection also, आधे लोग अपने सेल फोन पे इसको प्रोग्राम को भी सुन रहे होते हैं, साथ में सेल फोन पे भी काम कर रहे होते हैं. एंड ये हाल हो गया है दुनिया का कि हम मल्टीप्लेक्स करते हैं, which is good thing.
भाई आप भी करते हैं,
आप भी करते हैं. मैं सबसे ज्यादा कल्प्रेट हूँ उस चीज का. So but it's happening, and a lot of times that's what's causing problems in our life in a way, because we're not paying attention to what's important. We think we can listen to somebody also, और साथ में अपने WhatsApp messages भी check कर सकते हैं सब कुछ. So इसकी वजह से lot of stress happens. आप अपने कंप्यूटर को डबल टाइम ट्रिपल टाइम कर रहे हैं. फायदा अगर वही हो, अगर एक चीज पे एक टाइम पे ध्यान दे. हमारे गुरुजी अर्जुन भगत जी भी यही कहते हैं, बी प्रेजेंट इन व्हाटएवर यू आर डूइंग. जिसके साथ बैठे उसी से गप्पे मारो, बाकी ये ना सोचो कि काम पे गए तो घर की बातें, घर के ख्याल, और घर पे बैठे तो काम के ख्याल, which is so इस सब्जेक्ट पे हमारी एक बड़ी अच्छी यहाँ पे नेबर हैं ब्लैक हॉक में, एंड उनसे अभी मिले थे हम. एंड टर्न्स आउट many of you in ICC Cupertino know हमारे मनी साहब जो थे, रिमेंबर मनी सुब्रमण्यन जी, वो यहाँ पे मूव कर गए हैं ब्लैक हॉक में, और उनकी बहू का नाम है श्वेता शौरी. एंड श्वेता is our presenter today. Shveta has an organization called Mindful Presence, and with that organization she is out to change the world, going to schools, teachers, to medical doctors, to engineers, to all people who are in various fields, to teach them how to be in mindful condition all the time, and how it can enhance your life, how it can bring more quality to your life. You will accomplish even more. Sometimes we think कि double करने से double हो जाएगा काम, होता नहीं है. Actually, if you do one thing at a time. So let's give a very, very warm welcome to Shveta Shourie, who will take over from here. Shveta ji, I have to apologize. I'll be here for about 45 minutes. मैं भी double काम कर रहा हूँ, उसके बाद जाके मैंने tennis match खेलना. So ahead of time, but I will be here with you for 45 minutes. So we look forward to your session today. Big welcome for Shveta Shourie. Give us a big round of applause. I know we are muted, but she can see us. All right, Shveta ji.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dinesh ji, for this generous and warm welcome. And gosh, it's heartwarming to see everyone. And really for a group of seniors, so I've done different seminars and webinars for different audiences where it has been a mix of younger students or psychologists or even older or people or seniors. But this group is just precious. And it warms my heart, and it just reminded me, the moment I logged in, looking everyone's faces reminded me of my parents back in India, actually. I've been telling them and teaching them and trying to teach them mindfulness for forever, and the benefits and everything. And वो होता ना घर की मुर्गी दाल बराबर, so they'd be like, well, we'll have time, we'll do it. And then when they started attending my webinars and seminars, even like on international level, they were like, oh. So then all of a sudden they're like, yeah, now it makes more sense. But anyways, I'm so grateful to be here, honored to be here. I'll try to contribute my bit, and hopefully that'll be informative and helpful to everyone. I think I'll maybe do like a share tips and some practices, a little bit of theory part behind it, why it's helpful to us. But also then in the end, we can save some time for question and answer session, So hello, everyone. Namaste. I'm so thankful for all of you, to be here. Actually, our time is luxury. So you're all here at this webinar hosted by ICC Tri-Valley. This last year and a half has really been incredibly tough on all of us. So before we move forward, I really would invite you to just realize and just know in our heart, in our being, that we are not all in the same boat during these testing times. The realization that we are not in the same boat, although we are in the same storm, but we are in different boats. For instance, the access to healthcare, to other social, economic, and environmental resources, it's not same for everyone. There are many classes, many categories that are underprivileged. So just with that empathy, just with that realization that we are blessed, we have so many resources, we have um, loved and near and dear ones that we love, they are close to us. Just with that realization, we'll start today's talk and today's practice. Um, so mindfulness, what it is you must have heard of many different ways it's been used, the word mindfulness. It's almost become a fad nowadays where they're selling mindful mayonnaise, mindful coffee, but I just want to give you a real taste of what mindfulness is. A lot of people say, why the name mindfulness? So mindfulness really means your mind is full of emotions or thoughts. Um, but it's really the word mindfulness, it really means attention, paying attention. So when we tell a child, be mindful when you cross the street, be mindful when you drive, it's really about paying attention. So mindfulness does not mean that you have to strive to get to a point where there are no thoughts. Mindfulness practice does not mean that you have to reach to that no mind state. So maybe some of you have that notion, but it's just paying attention. It's as simple as being an observer in this moment. So observer to what? An observer to what is going on inside your physical body, what is going on in your mind, the thoughts, the emotions, and what is also going on outside your body. That is, in like simply put, that's your mindfulness practice. So be here, be now, and be with the experience that you have in this moment, because this is the only moment when we are alive. We can ruminate in the past, we can make plans for future, and it's important that you make plans for future. But when you're doing that, make special time mindfully to make plans or to strategize whatever you want to do in future, not just have it in the back of your mind all the time, that story running. So you will never be able to be with your friends, your family, fully 100% present if you're always making up stories or ruminating in the past, right? And that leads to huge dissatisfaction in life, in relationships, because we are not present with our near and dear ones. So today's life, I'm sure all of you will agree, parents are so busy. We have phone in one hand and we are listening to our child, and children know when our attention is divided. So they remind us, you are on your phone, you are reading or writing an email or a text while you're listening. How can that be? So we set a wrong example for them as well, right? um, so that's simply put, that's what mindfulness is. Like Dinesh said in the beginning, multitasking will inevitably divide our attention. So rather than that, when you have to do it, you have to do it, but limit that amount of time every day when you have to multitask. Just be and enjoy nature, your grandkids, your kids, the time you, even if when you're watching TV, be mindful of that, whatever you're watching. Don't think of anything else. Don't make plans for next morning. So that's what mindfulness is. And mindfulness also means present, to be present, and also practice it with equanimity in difficult times. So equanimity really is sambhav in Hindi, meaning you have same bhavna, same response to all different kind of situations in your life. It could be a sad situation, it could be a happy situation. So that's what mindfulness means. So up till now, the 2 points that you can remember about being mindful is to be present in the moment, and also to try to respond than react, which means, जैसे हिंदी में बोलते हैं हम दुख और सुख, और हमारे सारे वेदास also that teaches that the same thing, dukh and sukh, happiness, sorrows, just take them in the same stride. Just be present with them. There can be a immense learning in both good and bad, right? So let's not get stuck in the whirlpool of thoughts that we weave, our mind weaves around those situations. So mindfulness was, its origin is in Buddhism and Hinduism for sure. But here in the US, I've been teaching it for a few years now, and I have to be very careful when I teach it to especially children, because parents want us to teach something based on science, but not bring in religion. So even yoga, they have misconception that yoga is Hinduism or it's religion. So I have to tell them that it's science. Yoga is science of your body and your mind, but it's not. I mean, we can include religion. There are different disciplines and sub-disciplines in yoga as well. Excuse me, as well. But really it is science, right? So what I've been teaching is secular practice, which is supported and backed by neuroscience, and it's really helped me to explain it to parents, what I'm teaching. And it was brought from east to west by Dr. John Kabat-Zinn in 1979, when he introduced it in some clinics, as on experimental basis with his clients. And they saw innumerable benefits, in clinical trials and research, um, that now after 40 years, we have a promising toolkit to address stress and depression and much, much more. So actually, I can promise you, if you practice mindfulness on a daily basis, which it means it's a lifestyle change, of course, it's a discipline you follow every day, it can make you resilient physically, emotionally, and mentally. And actually, a lot of you, if you know my father-in-law, I think in many forms he practices mindfulness, in his daily routine. Um, so that's about the practice. But actually, before I go into few exercises of mindfulness that you can practice, excuse me, I wanted to share some facts, because when you have to cultivate mindfulness, there are some principles of mindfulness that if you remember every day and you bring into your practice, it will help you. You will actually see benefits from that. So if you sit in practice and you breathe, you're being with your breath. That has its own benefits. But if you want to have it as a lifestyle change, there are a few things that you have to incorporate, and they can be easily followed or done. So if you ever have questions, we can talk about the theory part of it after, towards the end of this session. But also, please feel free to contact me anytime. Um, so again, coming back to what Dineshji said, like he said, we are not present with our relations also, right? We are also multitasking, and that is the reason why most of us have sense of unfulfillment throughout our lives, and because we are not present, we are not curious in our relationships, in whatever we are doing. So going forward, first point, easiest point that you can remember to do every single day is your breath. Your breath is your anchor to be in this moment. So just be with your breath, just 5 minutes in the morning every day. Nothing else. Maybe you sit up in your bed, just be with your breath, and that means focus whatever that air is doing from the moment it enters your nose, it goes down to your chest, to your lungs, and then even the belly, when your belly inflates as you inhale, and then it goes back in as you exhale. And where you're feeling cold sensation, if the air is cold, air is warm, every single bit. When you do that, that means you are present with your breath. And when you practice it every day, that means you're building that muscle, that biceps, of mindfulness. With practice, it becomes stronger. So to bring you, to ground you in this moment, what I'm going to do is guide you through a very small, like 2-minute breathing sitting meditation. And I will ring the bell. That'll be your cue to start breathing. And I'll guide you, of course, so you can follow my instructions. And then I'll ring the bell again after 2 minutes for you to open your eyes and be in the moment. So every time we practice, always pay attention to your body, whatever is comfortable. The preferable posture is with your back straight. So if you all can sit with your back straight. close your eyes if it feels comfortable. If you feel sleepy when you close your eyes, you can actually open your eyes and have a very gentle gaze, maybe a foot from you or 2 feet away from you, just a gentle gaze. So sit in a dignified posture. If you feel like, you can keep your hand on your belly and bring your awareness to your breath. The slow, deep inhale and the slow, deep exhale. Just notice your breath. And if your mind wanders off, which it will, gently and compassionately bring it back to your breath. Just a gentle reminder to come back to your breath. Noticing a deep inhale all the way down to your belly and out through your nose. Whatever feels comfortable, just be with your breath. Paying attention to the air entering the tip of your nostrils and your hand moving with the belly as you inhale and then the air coming out as you exhale. Feel the warmth or the cold sensation of the air at your nostrils as you inhale and as you exhale. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes with a smile on your face. Okay, so I hope this was an easy exercise. All of you are so experienced, so wise. I'm sure you've done this kind of exercise before in bhakti, when you worship, Um, but what I have felt in my experience is that it's very common with all of us, however experienced we are, to have thoughts, our mind just wandering off when we sit with our breath, because that's what mind does. It's a monkey mind. So it'll just go off to thinking, what am I going to cook for tonight? Or it'll go off for thinking, I'm going to pick up my child, is that the time I'm running late? Which route I'm going to take to go to my destination? Will there be traffic? There's so many thoughts, right? So this exercise is the foundation. I want to share a very simple tip or a trick that can make this exercise easier for you. And that is, when we are breathing and when your mind goes away to a thought or to planning, maybe you're planning an event over the weekend, or you're ruminating in the past, someone hurt me or someone said this thing, what you should do is, the moment, so you're breathing, right? And your mind wanders off to a thought. As soon as you become aware that, oh, I was supposed to be here with my breath, but I'm thinking something else, that is the moment of awareness, right? That is the moment when you really are mindful. So Be aware. Okay, I acknowledge your presence, thought, planning, whatever it is, emotions, sadness, anger, happiness, whatever it is, I acknowledge your presence. So the best way to do that is you label it. So when you realize you're thinking something, just label it. Say thinking. You don't have to be very specific about it. Don't think too much about that word or the label. Just say thinking, or say planning, or say angry. The trick or the secret is, the moment you label it, you are consciously acknowledging its presence in your consciousness. It loses power over you. The moment you say thinking, planning, you let it be, and then you bring your attention back to your breath. It might sound really simple and subtle, but it's very powerful. So label it and gently bring your attention back to breath, and then be with your breath again. Again, you're doing it after 15 seconds, after 1 minute, after 40 seconds, your mind's going to go again. So it's a practice, right? Can you see the repetition here? So your mind's going to go here. This time it's not planning, but it's doing something else, So whatever word feels right to you, sadness, just say the word sadness and bring your attention back gently again to breath. So it's a repetition. You're training your mind to be present in this moment again and again. And as you train it, naturally, what will happen is you'll be present in this moment for more number of minutes every day. So this seated mindfulness practice, to be with your breath, is one of the formal. There are many formal practices we practice and we teach, and there are many informal practices. This is one of the formal practices, and I've given you a very small, like 2 minute version of it. You can sit like this for 45 minutes, for an hour. And the research that they've done is, for people who sit for 40 minutes with this kind of meditation and bringing your attention back to breath with non judgment and compassion, over a period of 8 weeks, they see immense benefits, including physical, mental, emotional. And with children, they've seen their SAT scores, they go up, you know. So, and within only within 8 weeks, 8 weeks of practice every day, So your immune system becomes better, uh, you know. So that's something very simple and very powerful. Consistency is the key. I would encourage all of you to practice it. Um, what I want to say is about this breathing practice, that when you do it, a lot of times in classes and courses, a lot of teachers, they say just straight away go to 40 minutes seated practice, but we don't have time, and that discourages us. So even if you're doing 5 minutes in the beginning to start with, beginning of the day, and then you do 15 minutes in midday, and then 10 minutes before going to bed, that is, cheer yourself, encourage yourself, pat yourself on the back that you've done it. you know that's huge, and you will still see benefits even if you're not sitting for 40 minutes in one go. Number one. Number two, I wanted to say was, you must have noticed every time I said bring your attention back gently to your breath. What does this word mean, gently or compassionately or non-judgmentally? Again, that is one of the principles in mindfulness, because when I say bring your attention back gently, meaning do not judge yourself. A lot of times it's going to happen, your mind's going to jump up there again and again, and you get frustrated and you'll be like, I can't even sit for 5 minutes, what nonsense. It's better I just get some work done. So you get upset with yourself, right? You're judging yourself. So that's what that word means when I say bring your attention gently back to your breath. That don't beat yourself up, if you're not able to. So huge part of mindfulness is self-compassion, and that's what we practice uh, in our seated practice. So quickly, prana, our breath. Unfortunately, during COVID, we've taken it for granted all the time, and then people are looking for their trying to find oxygen cylinders, which really is air, right? And that's when I just thought, I mean, how we just take our prana for granted, we just take our breath for granted. And if that changes, I think our physical body is going to feel a lot of benefits from that. So to cultivate mindfulness, don't take your breath for granted. You know, be grateful that we are every day we are alive. We get a new day to experience, to live. You know, um, and it's not coming from just my experience. It is one of the integrate principle of mindfulness, to be grateful for what you have. So quickly going through a few of the other principles, and I'd like to focus on practice, but these principles are important, so I'll cover them in very short. First one is acceptance. Of course, acceptance of self, but also acceptance of others who don't have same viewpoint as you. That is a big part in mindfulness, which teaches us forgiveness as well, right? When we accept people. And so acceptance of people, acceptance of yourself, and acceptance of situations in life that you cannot change, that you cannot control. So if you, I mean, I can give lots of examples, but I think mostly all of you would understand this what I'm saying. I want to say, just add to this the benefit of accepting ourselves, of others, and situations that we cannot control, because that attitude, that cultivation of acceptance brings resilience to us. And resilience really means, you fall, you're in a difficult situation, you dust up and you get up and you face life again, with the same enthusiasm. So it's not bad to feel low, but when you're feeling low, accept it, acknowledge it, but then also encourage yourself to get up. So it's not just, sometimes you feel mindfulness is all like religious or spiritual um, practice, but there is a lot of science and psychology behind it too. So acceptance, that makes us resilience. That's the first one. Second one is impermanence. And again, I don't think I have to really elaborate on it, what impermanence is, but what I want to emphasize is that accepting impermanence will change your attitude towards life and towards a lot of circumstances. So everything, I mean, change is the only constant, right? Everything in your life, just remember, everything in your life is temporary. So if things are going good, enjoy it, because it won't last for long. And if things are not going good, they're going bad or not going good, and bad is, again, it's a relative, it's a comparison, right? So if things are going bad, don't worry, because that will also not last forever. So just a reminder to yourself on that. And of course, Buddha taught impermanence. Our um, Vedas teach impermanence. So whichever whichever practice you resonate with, it's a big, impermanence is a big part of that, and impermanence is a fact of life. The third one I would like you to remember and cultivate is that you are not facing this hardship alone. Whatever hardship that is, if it's a disease, if it is some kind of relational hardship, professional hardship, you're not the only one. So just sitting with it and realizing that there are so many more people who are going through the same emotional, mental, physical hardship as you are. And observing this fact will give you comfort, number one. Number two, it helps you change the narrative. A lot of times we make this story, we victimize ourselves, that, why life is doing this to me, why God is doing this to me, why me? But when you realize that you're not the only one, and that is a fact, right? You're not the only one. I'm not the only one going through this tough situation. So when we realize that there's so many other people going through the same situation, that helps us change our narrative, the narrative of putting ourselves into a victim position. Huge, that is huge part of positive psychology, and neuroscience backs it up, how it helps with the cultivation of growth mindset. So that's the third principle. And fourth one is, again, self-compassion, compassion towards other people. With mindfulness, we do a formal loving kindness meditation where we actually send kind and loving thoughts to every single person who we love, person who we don't love, who we hate, person. I think in Buddhist practice, they also send those thoughts to people in past lives and stuff like that, who are in different, like to heal the karmic relationships. But that's a big practice. It's a formal practice in mindfulness where we sit and we practice compassion towards ourselves and for others. Again, for 40 minutes, we sit with this practice of loving kindness. And it's just beautiful when I teach it to kids. They bully each other in playgrounds. And when towards end of their school day, I have my class. And then the stories come up where they've been bullied or someone bullied them, and then we practice this, and they send kind thoughts to this person who bullied them. A lot of stuff comes up where they're like, I didn't want to send this, but I feel good after sending these kind thoughts to this person. So that's really from early on. We are teaching them to be kind, because again, compassion, there has been research done. I think um, it's by a psychologist, I think, in Berkeley, I think, and stress and compassion, how they affect us. Stress, he's said it's a portrait. Stress is a portrait of a killer. I mean, sorry, a killer that is stressed. So he's given a portrait of stress, which is a killer, in his documentary. And compassion, on the other hand, how even difficult situations, if we face those and we are compassionate towards ourselves and towards other, how we become resilient. you know so a lot of new moms groups, who've gone through hardships in pregnancy, they've researched those, and they've said when they are compassionate to each other and themselves, they are able to form great bonds amongst themselves and also with their children, and their benefits are, again, it multiplies, the benefit multiplies. So all these principles, they help with mental and emotional hygiene, and that's what mindfulness is. So compassion, I would say, is one thing. Compassion and gratitude that I really, really connect with, and I love teaching it to children. And research has shown that when we feel compassion, our heart rate slows down. And also we secrete the bonding hormone. It's called the bonding hormone, the oxytocin, right? And regions in our brain, like the that are linked, the regions that are linked to feelings of pleasure, empathy, caregiving, they light up. So actually putting all the electrodes, they've done this research. So those regions in our brain, they light up, and it makes us want to approach and care for other people. So we can inspire others to follow compassion, if nothing else. And then the last one, which is the most important, present in this moment, which is the only moment you are alive, right? So these are few things that if you remember every day, it becomes easier for you to not get caught in the whirlpool of thoughts, which can actually lead to anxiety on a smaller level, and then chronic stress and depression. So to avoid mental illness, these five practices, the concepts, the fundamentals of the principles, their cultivation is very, very imperative. All right, so now I'll quickly go into the practice, that I want to share with all of you today. There is a little bit of neuroscience. I will see what the time is, and yeah, we have less time. I want to go into the
You
practice.
have 25 minutes more.
Right. I want to go to the practices, and then neuroscience really is what happens in our center, and our brain gets hijacked by amygdala, but I think I can explain it in another one that's all neuroscience based, maybe. So practice is most important part. All right. So whenever we have stress, we are going through our daily life. It could be stuck in traffic. It could be an argument. It could be an email from a loved or dear one. It could be an email from our boss. Whatever triggered us in this moment, right now, emotionally, right? That is a stress. That would be a stress for me. So brain actually perceives the real life-threatening situation and the perceived situation in a similar way. So your body will react and excrete same hormones in both the situation. One is the real life-threatening, and the other one is just a perceived situation. An email from my boss, which I think in my mind is maybe derogatory, maybe condescending, and I might build up stories. Oh my God, how am I going to explain this to my boss? All the stories around it, right? When I'm doing this, my mind, my brain is actually thinking, the amygdala is thinking that, oh my God, this is life threatening. So you better fight or fly, fight or flight mode, the survival mode. It's going to put me in that survival mode. And if I keep doing this every day and I keep taking stress for every small and big situation in life, that means I'm always in survival mode. And no human being can live in a survival mode forever or for a longer span of time without facing the physical and mental and emotional consequences, which is, of course, chronic stress and depression, and then high BP and insomnia and all that stuff. So, first thing when we practice mindfulness is to check ourselves. It's just an email. I'm just stuck in traffic. What's the big deal? I may be late by 5 minutes. It's not worth getting in that situation where you are always taking stress for big or small things. Your children are raising their children in a way, whatever they feel is right. You can advise, you can suggest, but then it's not worth taking stress, really. That's the best you can do. That's the best I can do. And I think all parents, we try to do our best, best to our abilities. So a lot of examples, right? I'm just trying to quote whatever I can think of right now. So what you can do in such a situation, when you are aware that you are going through this stress, or the stress is just, this thought is just going to give you stress, so you're just in the beginning stages of feeling that, you remember, choose me, the acronym STOP, STOP. It's very powerful. Again, the stuff I'm sharing might seem very easy. Oh my God, that's it. But it's very powerful. So remember the word stop, STOP, where S stands for stop. Stop whatever you're doing in that moment. The moment that thought came and you're trying to ruminate on it, or you're trying to think and stress about it, just stop. Check yourself, catch yourself in that moment. And then T stands for take a breath mindfully. So stop and then just relax, take a deep breath. Okay, you know, take a deep breath mindfully. O stands for observe or notice. What are you going to observe in this moment, right? So you have to remember to observe three things in this moment. One is observe, of course, what is happening in your body and around your body. But most important three things are the body sensations, the emotions, and the thoughts in this moment, not past, or future. In this moment, what are you feeling in your body? Do you feel tightness here? Do you feel your heartbeat is rising because you're feeling stressed, or you're feeling angry or sad? What are the emotions? Again, angry, sad, you're feeling jealous. What is the trigger, and what are you feeling in your body? And what thoughts are you feeling right now? So all those things, when you pay attention in this moment, it is going to take you out of your default mode. Default mode is the mode when we are just always in survival mode. We're always just running, running, running without paying attention to what is happening in this moment, in my body, in my thoughts, in my head, in my emotions, right? So these three things you notice, when, for instance, am I taking a shallow breath in this moment? Yes, I am. What happened? What am I thinking? I'm thinking, oh my God, that's the worst scenario. What is going to happen tomorrow in the meeting when my boss asks me this, or whatever, right? Something like that. Then what are the emotions related to that? What is thinking? Why am I judging someone? Am I judging myself? I was just, so bad. I should have done that. I should not have done that. So many things to notice about yourself. It makes you learn so much about yourself as well. So STO is observe, and this is what you do when you observe sensations, thoughts, and emotions. And the last is P, stop, right? P is proceed with awareness and kindness. So do not judge yourself, don't beat yourself, and don't have those negative thoughts about others. That's not going to help you. Whatever it is, your hate towards someone, jealousy towards someone, or someone who triggered this emotion, you really want to just strangle them, whatever it is, proceed with awareness and kindness. So it is kind of like working on yourself, kind of, self development exercise. A lot of times we don't realize what we are going through, and we don't take responsibility for our thoughts and emotions. This little exercise makes you do that. So, and with practice, this really takes few seconds. stop. You can do this anytime, anywhere, the moment you get in an argument. Okay, stop. In the beginning, I used to do was I would put a reminder on my phone. When in the beginning I learned mindfulness, I would put a reminder every like half an hour to be mindful of my breath. And I would put post-its on my screen or my like mirror and stuff where I'll say stop, just write stop. So even if I don't have a thought that is bothering me, I'll just stop when I see that post-it and I'll just bring awareness to what's going on in my body, emotions, thoughts. So that's a good exercise and really powerful. This is one of the informal practices of mindfulness. Then there's a little self-care meditation I want to walk you through. And it's the same thing. I'll ring the bell, and you just have to listen to my instructions. And by doing this meditation, you're training yourself to be like a mountain in a storm. So if you resonate with it, I can give you the script, or maybe I can, give you a recording or something. So all right, it's a short meditation. I'll lead you through it, and it's a beautiful self-care meditation. Coming to a comfortable sitting position with your back straight, having a dignified posture. Gently allow your eyes to close. Place one hand on your chest and the other on your belly. This gesture really helps you bring attention and kindness to yourself, to your own body. And also, it tethers your focus to your breath. Take a deep breath in and exhale. And notice how your chest and your belly follows the rising and falling of your breath. A deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Inhale and exhale. Another deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And notice how you're feeling in this moment. Notice if you're anxious or fearful or sad or at peace and grateful. Acknowledging this feeling and being with it in this moment. Now bringing attention to your feet and the sensations in your feet. See if you feel cold or heat or some kind of tingling sensations in your feet. Now gently bring your attention to your thighs and your buttocks. Notice the sensation of them touching the chair or the floor, wherever you're seated. Notice how your body is supported in this moment. And notice if you can connect to the idea of safety in this moment. Know and say, I am safe. Breathing in and out. Notice the touch of your hands on your chest and your belly. Feel the heartbeat and your breath. Knowing and saying, I am safe. I am alive. I'm healthy. And I'm so grateful. Notice how you feel about the resources you have. Take comfort in knowing that you have food and shelter, you have access to technology and to get information. Know and say in this moment, I have all the resources I need, and I'm very grateful. Now, coming to the awareness that you are connected to your friends and family around the world. Know and say, I am connected in this moment with my family and friends, for which I am very grateful. Breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. In this moment, I am relaxed. Rub your palms together, massage your face gently, and with a smile on your face, open your eyes when ready. All right. So the next one, I have two other meditations. Won't have time, I think that, but they are. One is the breathing meditation, but before that, I want to go and cover quickly simpler ones. And the other practice that I think you can all do is you can do it by yourself. You can do it with your children and grandchildren. And I'm a big believer of this practice, as I mentioned before. It's a practice of gratitude. So you can all keep a gratitude journal or a gratitude jar. You know, कोई भी हमारा जो jar होता है, it could be a pickle jar, whatever, an empty one, of course, empty, clean one, or you can keep a journal. And in that gratitude jar, you write one or two or three things that you're grateful for every day. उनको just fold them पर्ची बना के and put that in a gratitude jar and teach that to your children or grandchildren. You can do it as an exercise with them, you know. So you all have your own separate jars, gratitude jars, and every day you write few things and put them in your jar. Make it colorful, decorate if you're working with kids. I do that in classroom all the time with kids. And you know, there are days when you're not feeling good, or you're feeling the life is not going according to what how you want it to be. Just open that jar and start reading some of the slips that you put in. So when you read all those slips, I'm grateful for this, so that gives you a sense, that gives you that gives you comfort in knowing that, you know what, in the whole, on the whole, my whole life is going good. You know, see what I wrote the other days. So it's been good. I'm just making this up right now in this moment because I'm concerned, I'm upset, but really it's just one day that things are not going to according to what I want. But on the whole, life is not bad. And it's very important for us to teach that to children. um, because all this, I mean, there are phases when they sulk and all, and that teaches them, that's a lesson for them to learn in its own way. But being grateful is a very powerful practice, especially in today's world where where children, we all are, I think we are so addicted to instant gratification that if we don't have things that we want, we don't have events going on in our life that we want, it's okay. I'm still okay. A big practice of mindfulness is I am okay. As long as I'm alive, I am okay. So this is, I would encourage you to do this practice with your kids, grandkids. Um, just wanted to quickly talk about, you know, I when I teach mindfulness, I also incorporate growth mindset, and growth mindset is really about learning new things at any age. So I want to, instead of going into my body scan, which is really very very similar to yoga nidra that we do, I want to just touch few important points from growth mindset that can help, with successful aging also. And one of them is, excuse me, that always remind yourself to push your boundaries, not other people's boundaries, your boundaries, little by little. What I mean by that is your mental, your physical, emotional, and spiritual boundaries. Always, if you can sit today in meditation for 5 minutes, tomorrow make it 5.5 minutes, tomorrow make it 6 minutes, whatever works for you, but always push a little bit. If you're walking today 5,000 steps or 30 steps, push yourself tomorrow to do 40 steps. So that's what I mean. It's a huge part of growth mindset where, and of course, mindfulness, where when you push boundaries, you're always learning more about yourself, and you are actually making neurons fire when you're going out of your comfort zone. So when neurons fire in your brain, they make new connections, you learn, and your brain does not age that quickly. So when we say, oh, with age our memory declines, and we have other things going on with our cognitive abilities, that is being proven wrong now. There could be some instances where it's related to your genes and all that, maybe some little bit to diet, nutrients, but this practice has been proven to affect your brain and its aging in a positive way. So successful aging, I think it's in itself, people have even written books on it. um, always push your boundaries, um, play some brain games, play some kind of board games with your kids, grandkids, or whatever you want. Spend time in nature and just be curious. Being curious is huge, to bring anti-aging benefits, I would say, for your brain. Be curious, just be like a child, you know um, yeah, ignorance is not a bliss. So look at everything with a new pair of eyes. It's relevant to us, to my age, to your age, to our kids' age, to everyone. So remember a few of these things, that you know yeah, don't believe in this myth, really, that with age you're going to lose your memory. Seriously. So work on this, and you will definitely make your brain healthy. The other part of successful aging is engagement with community, with society, with your friends and family, with your children, grandkids, whichever way. If you cannot meet in person right now, so Zoom or other ways you have, so social engagement, do not give up on that. um, do that. That's a big part of keeping our brain healthy as we age. The other thing is to have meaningful connections in life. For resiliency and for longevity, have meaningful connections in your life. Volunteer wherever you can volunteer. And these meaningful connections, and healthy connections, they found that they lead to emotional health and resiliency, but they also help with longevity, where you have positive relationships. They boost cardiovascular, immune, and endocrine responses. So it's not, again, um, just a story that people are preaching. There has been science behind it. They've done research. Not not critical of yourselves and others. So a practice that's free of judgment and full of compassion is the practice that is sustainable. So remember to be not critical of yourself and others. And they've also found out that the peak age of happiness tends to be about 82. They say, I don't know the details about it, but they found it's 82 because I think the experience and the fact that people know they've gone through all different kind of situation in life, and they are okay. They can manage it. So that's what brings them that satisfaction and happiness at 82. um, just want to check time. Okay, 3 minutes short. So I think I actually had even two more meditations, but I would be very happy to share lead you through it any other time. but I would like to open this up for any kind of Q&A. I think if you have, addressed that first. So, yeah.
Dineshji, can we ask questions?
I think Dineshji had to leave.
Oh, I see. So can we ask some questions also?
Veenaji, I just wanted to ask her.
Okay.
You said about
Can you tell your name first?
Oh, I am Kailash Chabra. Sorry.
Okay. Go ahead, ask question.
I'll just put it on myself. Okay. I'm Kailash Chabra. You see, I just wanted to know the three things what you said, STP.
OP.
OP.